So you want to know what I've been up to for the last year or two? Well, aren't you nosy? But I'll tell you anyway, because I don't mind. About 13 months ago, I moved from Los Angeles to, obviously, Washington State, as you can see. I think only Washington State would have a wall that looks like that. I think it's pretty obvious. I moved away because Los Angeles was a little bit Los Angeles-y, which is not a compliment. And the first thing I did when I moved here was I mostly lived on the streets, but I spent most of my time in the opium dens of Chinatown in Seattle. It was a pretty fun time. Chasing the dragon, you know, that kind of thing. You might think I would have lost weight during that period, but I gained over 100 pounds, and this was only in about a few months. The reason that I gained weight is because I was working towards my dream. The dream that I guess I figured I would never probably achieve, which is why I was trying to run away and live in the state of a dream, I guess, is kind of what I was trying to do back then when I was chasing the dragon. The dream, of course, was, I think, the dream that a lot of us have, which is to be a contestant on The Biggest Loser. I mean, to walk on The Biggest Loser campus, and like see, like, there's Bob, there's Jillian, you know, there's sweet little Allison. Anyway, I get a little emotional, but I think we all share that dream. And I was working towards it. I was gaining weight, you know, chasing the dragon, but eating while I was doing it, you know, putting a lot of stuff in my mouth, definitely. That's definitely what I was doing. Strapped into the table in this huge round metallic room, and I was screaming. I was like, you know, let me go. What's all this? You know, why are there mutilated cattle in the corner of this like spherical room? And then like the clog czar is coming up to me, and it's just a comical situation because I'd never been, you know, anally probed before on a spaceship. And Clogzar had never been to Earth before. He'd never done any of this kind of stuff, so we're both like fumbling our way through it, you know. And it's like I was going crazy. I was screaming, but he made it a pleasure. He was a pro. I'll tell you that right now. Clogzar was totally a professional. He was new, but he had a good, you know, bedside totally that's what I would out of it, especially in the morning time. So. Anyway, one of those days, I finally took my ass to the doctor, and I was like, "What the hell is wrong with me?" He did some tests, and guess what? It turns out, he says, "Zach, you're pregnant with twins." I think I should take this moment to thank all the biology teachers that I've ever had for informing me that men can have babies. Yeah, that was really nice of you. Oh, wait a second, you didn't. Well, thanks for nothing. Yeah, that you can. All you kids out there watching, yes, men can have babies. It happens all the time. It or at least happened one time, because I know it happened to me. And so here I am pregnant. I'm like, whatever. I'm not even going to talk about it. I don't want to talk to the newspapers. I guess it's rare. Whatever. So I was like, I'll just get an abortion. Done. And that was my decision. And I think I had that right, by the way. He grabbed me by the arm and he said, "Zach, I will leave everything for you. I just want to be with you. I need you." And I turned around, I looked back at him, and I was like, "Mr. President, I may care about you, but I could never support your foreign and domestic policies and your intellectually dishonest interpretation of the Constitution." And I turned around. And I walked away forever. But as I did, I had it in the back of my mind that I would never forget that day in the summer behind the White House, playing on the slip and slide with Barry. It was so fun. We slipped, and then we slipped, and we went too far, and we hit the grass. I got Going out to Los Angeles, I was like, I made it to some kind of second stage where they do like an interview process. So I was thinking, yes, this could be the dream come true. I might make it on The Biggest Loser. I had gained another, 50 pounds plus the weight, the baby weight, because I had been, I was like 5 months pregnant at this time, and I was trying to think I could use that to my advantage. That was my plan anyway, because I figured, well, I go into the ranch, they weigh you at the beginning, and then you're supposed to try to lose a lot of weight. But I figured, if I could sneak off the ranch, get my abortion, I'll be like 7 months pregnant, it'll be a lot of weight I'll lose, and that'll help me win the contest. But I was worried maybe they'll have like medical tests probably, and that's like how I'm going to get around that, I have to bribe some people or something. But I figured I could probably pull it off, but then I didn't even get that far, because in the interview process when I got to Los Angeles, they were upset that apparently I was going to, that I had been trying to gain weight to be on the show, apparently. I guess that's, you're not supposed to follow your dreams, apparently, according to the producers of The Biggest Loser. And if you think that's not fair, I'm not going to tell you that you should or you shouldn't send letters to The Biggest Loser, care of NBC, Rockefeller, New York, or Los Angeles, or whatever their addresses you can find. I'm not saying you should do that, but you probably should do that, because that is something you should do, definitely. And by probably and definitely, I mean do that, please. Please send them letters.
Another night.
Another drinking game. Please. Every night was pretty much drinking game. And every night we didn't usually have a lot of creativity when we had our drinking games, because we would pretty much just drink until we passed out, and then the first person to pass out was either the winner or the loser or something. I mean, I don't remember if I won or lost that night, but I definitely passed out, and I was there on the floor. It was like my floor was really dirty. That was the tile floor of the kitchen. There was like some kind of bugs crawling around it that I couldn't recognize, and they kind of mixed into the dirt piles. And then I looked at my hand, and my hand was even dirtier than the floor. I hadn't bathed in months and months. And then there was just this crusty layer over my skin. And I looked at one of my fingers, and I was like, is that a ring? Do I have a ring? Maybe I can hawk that or something. And I kind of poked at it, because it was like under a layer of crust. You could hardly see it. And I was like, no, that's a string. I must have been trying to, remember something pretty important a few months back. This was after I got rejected from The Biggest Loser, I went into depression, and it was like, that was a bad time. So there was something around that time that I knew I really wanted to do, and then just then I realized that the floor was really wet, and then I was getting some weird feelings, and I was like getting some contractions, and I'm in labor, and it's like, oh yeah, ding 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 ding, abortion, forgot. So I had to rush. It was crazy. I rushed over, super drunk, but you're good to drive when it doesn't matter, as long as you can kind of see most of the vision. Like, there's like a tunnel vision. Like, if the tunnel vision is like this, then you shouldn't drive when you're drinking. But if it's like this, you can drive. And because I was like so alert because of the news, that I was like, my tunnel vision was like, and that was enough. You can do this. You can see where you are. That's good enough for driving. And I go into the emergency room, and I'm like, I need an abortion, quick. I'm in labor. I need an emergency abortion. And they are such bitches there. I tell you, they have some kind of crazy red tape or something. They won't give you an abortion if you're in labor. That's another thing they don't tell you at school. For some reason, I don't know why, it's some kind of bureaucratic
my twins,
mumbo jumbo, but I figured whatever. I named one of the twins boy and one of the twins girl, because I figured that was really simple. They were both boys, but I named one of them boy already, and I couldn't name them both boy because that would be pretty confusing, wouldn't it? Boy and boy doesn't really make sense. So boy and girl, because it's different than boy. I don't know why, but it doesn't really matter anyways, because I was about to just get I was filling up the sink so I could do my abortion. So I went home first thing when I got home, started filling up the sink, plugged it up, getting a nice little let the water rise there so I could do my abortion. Bring the kids over there, and it's like, just when I was, putting boy into the water to abort him, he kind of looked up at me in the eyes, and I was like, and I know everybody's going to be like, you are such a sentimental goofball, but I swear I couldn't go through with it, I know, that's just me. I'm sentimental, I admit it. I'm that way. But I was like, fine, I won't have a post-birth abortion. I'll keep them. So I took boy and girl to the woods, and I put them in. I got them on the couch, and I was out in the woods. I kept looking to see if I could see street lights or something, and I knew it would probably be a couple more miles of walking before I even found any kind of civilization. So, and I was getting tired because I had boy and girl strapped to my back, looking for any sign that I could get out of the woods. It reminded me of back when I got abducted that one time when I got lost in the woods, and I was like, I hope that doesn't happen anymore. You know, Clogzar with his freaking impregnation, freaking pranks like he did last time. No thank you, Clogzar, you know. It was funny the first time, but no. So, at that point, I think to myself, you know what? It's been 13 hours. I've been out in these woods, and then I realized my stomach was grumbling. And I knew at that moment I would have to eat one of my children. So I know that's terrible, but I had to. I had to be practical about the situation. So I flipped a coin, and I started making the fire so that I could eat girl. And then just when I was, I had my little placemat and neckerchief made out of like bark and leaves or something, and just then something happened that will make you believe in a higher power if you don't already. Out of the bushes came like an injured turkey. It was like hobbling on like one leg. It was obviously, about to die because it couldn't survive out in the wild. I don't know if there are a lot of wild turkeys in Washington State. There may not be any. But that's part of the miracle, even if there aren't. I haven't looked it up. But this turkey came hobbling out there, and I was like, I was about to eat one of my only children, who was going to taste bland and not really very good probably, and then comes this miracle. So I built up this fire, cooked that turkey into a really good turkey gravy. So then I cooked girl, and I was able to pour that gravy over girl, and she was so much better than I'm sure she would have been otherwise. It was very delicious, and I had turkey leftovers, and I was feeling pretty good about myself at that point, and thanking God. And then I realized, you know what, Zach? This isn't right. Now you have to make the ultimate sacrifice, because at this time I was stuffed. I could not eat another bite. But then I remembered what I had promised myself when I brought those kids out of the sink that day. I said, I will never play favorites. And that's what I had just done by eating one of them and not the other one. So I knew I had to sacrifice my stomach, which was totally full, and I had to eat the other one too at that moment. And that's what I did. And it made me feel sick in my stomach, but I had to do it just to be fair, to be moral, to be right. It was another 6 hours before I ended up getting to the freeway, so it's a good thing I ate them. But I was pretty much inconsolable for a long time, as you could probably imagine. That was on Friday, and now it's like Tuesday, so I'm a lot better now. I'm pretty cool. So, what have you been up to?